Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This is my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, January 24th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this would be a video for you. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see over there will be moving around still. That is because the market's open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, ticker symbol PLUG. And big movement today on this one as the grind continues when it got absolutely beat down, and been tracking this one, just saying, you know, it's a borderline cult stock, and these things can go through some very nice upwards movements, and we are now in essentially the third day of that, with, as I speak right now, the price essentially pushing the highs, knocking on the door of highs right there. So we'll get some new levels mapped out and updated. I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of that level as it served its purpose for now. Now, in the very near term, the ideal level, I'm going to say, Clay, you know, what would make this chart look the absolute best moving forward? That would be if the price can stay up above that pink line there, which on my chart denotes the 200 period moving average, just based on foundational rule in charting, which states when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you want to see them act as support. Now, with that being said, it's not like if the price falls below that pink line, that implies the chart's epically destroyed or anything like that. But yes, preferably speaking, what would make it look the strongest? Certainly if the price can stay above that pink line. For more so the bigger picture point of view, watch that purple line down there, the 50 period moving average, keyword being moving. So as time goes by, that line is going to move itself higher and higher. So from an overarching standpoint, as long as the price stays above that line, as the line itself moves higher and higher, the bulls are in full control. In terms of areas of resistance, next potential battlegrounds, next key area to watch very closely, going to be right up here at that former area of support, which sits there at about $3.90. So keep a close eye on that. But overall, very, very impressive bounce. Next one, ticker symbol PHUN. And overall, the grind continues, higher highs and higher lows. Starting to get a lot of lines here. So I'm going to start to do some cleanup here and just get rid of these lines as they've all served their purpose. I'm going to get rid of that level too. And really just focus on two main levels moving forward. Both you've heard of, assuming you've watched past watch list videos. But the first, in terms of resistance, the power of charts mapped out this this red line before. And you can see right there, again, power of charts opening 30 minutes. Price came right up to that level there at 48 cents. And was rejected. So 48 cents going to be that first key level. Good news is the price is still well within striking distance, as it just spent, you know, basically all day slightly below that area. So while that still doesn't guarantee anything, it does make it more than plausible to think that the price could turn itself around and then potentially get a break up through that area right there. And then in terms of levels of support, nothing new that, you know, compared to what we just talked about. I think in this situation, the 50 period moving average makes the most sense. So that line's going to continue to move itself higher and higher. And, you know, if you want to just use that moving average as a, trend line itself, basically have a little wedge that's forming. You have that part of the wedge and that part of it right there. If you want to call that some sort of ascending triangle, I wouldn't put much up, push back much on that. But overall, moral of the story here is at 48 cents, definitely going to be a level that a lot of people are watching. Then you have that 50 period moving average as key support. Next one, ticker symbol RVSN. Very, very nice pattern here that has formed. And let me be very clear. I'm not trying to press you. I'm not trying to imply that this is some sort of great talent on my part or a special discovery. A lot of people have noticed this pattern. And I say all that because when a lot of people are watching the same pattern, wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it can produce some very dynamic movement. So let me get this pattern here drawn into play. So the first part of it, we have the resistance part right there. And then we have a support portion of it right there. Let me change that to green to represent support. And then let's keep it all one color now to hopefully make it a little bit easier to see. But we have resistance, we have support, we have the big upwards move right there. And you for golfers out there, try to make it a little bit more visual, put a little golf hole down there. This would be known as a bull pennant pattern. So again, no guarantees, but is it valid and plausible that if the price comes up to the top part and then breaks out, that break in of itself could create a self-fulfilling prophecy where more people just start buying and then it just picks up naturally, more momentum? That is certainly a plausible scenario. So if you like stocks down below $10, you like bull pennant patterns, certainly keep an eye on it. Next one here, ticker symbol FAZE. Got ourselves another penny stock with a whole lot of volume on the day, which is very, very important in the world of penny stocks. So let's map out some of these key levels. First key level from the resistance side of things is right there at what I would call 45.5 cents. You can see that the price did at one point get up above it, and it ran as high as right there, but then rolled back over, and you can see went right back to acting as resistance like it did right there. But wow, as I speak, And this is why I like to do these again while the market's still open. Quite the pullback right now. So hopefully this isn't some sort of beginning of the end. I suppose we'll have to see what happens. But as far as pullbacks and levels of support are concerned, very interesting pullback area right there around the 28-cent mark. So let me change that to green to represent support. And then, yeah, once again, from more so the overarching standpoint, just watch that purple line as itself moves higher and higher and gets more and more relevant as time goes by. But in the near term, and what I would classify as more so that ideal level, again, representing, what would make the chart look the absolute healthiest, absolute strongest going forward, that would be if the price can stay right up here above that 28-cent mark. So, yeah, getting pretty crazy here the last 30 minutes, but we'll see if this thing can indeed turn around. And if it does, can it break above 45 cents? We'll see what happens. Next one here, ticker symbol AMC, and disappointing day when you consider how it started off. Opening 30 minutes, big green solid big solid green candle, and then after that, big red candle, and then it bled a little bit more. Now, to be fair, at least it has gone sideways here a little bit, but that in and of itself has now led to a level of support that you got to think a lot of people are watching. So you have you do have essentially a self-fulfilling prophecy here, where if the price breaks below there, no such thing as a guarantee, as I've said, but it does make it more than plausible to think that a break of right around the 435 mark could create that much more downside pressure as people are stopping out and just hopping out, as it breaks down through a critical level right there. So keep an eye on that in the near term from a support standpoint. In terms of levels of resistance, still have this initial level up here at the 455-ish mark. But before you even really put too much emphasis on that, it's now all about that 50 period right there, the purple line. And just based on foundational rules, when those levels are broken, they tend to act as support. And you can see when the price broke below it right there, then it went to acting as resistance. Does not mean that the price can't break above it, just saying it makes sense why the price is struggling at that area. But yeah, overall, a rough day here for AMC. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering here very soon. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free webinar. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use to get signed up. Or if you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can use to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live webinar. Next one here, ticker symbol NIO, and overall, fantastic start with the gap up. Price ran all the way up there, but I hope day traders are watching stop losses we're using stop losses, because any day traders that bought right there, and if they were not using stop losses as the prices dropped all the way down here, they're having a very rough day, a very bad day. Now, there is still a little bit of an opportunity to show some signs of progress. What do I mean by show some signs of progress? Well, this sideways channel right here was broken today. So that means that this area of resistance needs to be converted to a support. And what you don't want to see happen, what would cause me to call this just a pump and dump today, is if the price were to come down to 610 and then break down below it. Because at that point, you would quite literally have the price having gone right back to where it was. Or said another way, that would imply that the price made a huge move up and then went right back to where it started. And essentially, that is what a pump and dump is. Again, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but that is why, in my mind, this 610 mark is a very, very important level to watch moving forward. In terms of areas of resistance, if this thing does try to bounce back upwards, key level to watch closely will be right there initially at the 640 mark, so keep an eye on that. But in my opinion, at least top priority right now is not dropping back below 610, because that would literally be putting the price right back to where it was, which is not a good sign from a bullish standpoint. Next one here, DWAC, and the uptrend continues, even though while I speak right now, yes, it is accurate for you to say, well, there's this pullback right now. That is true. There is a pullback, but that's a very near-term sighted thing, because from an overall standpoint, even if you just consider it today, you'd have to ask yourself, well, what was going on before this pullback? And you would say, well, there's a big upwards move right there, which is now giving me the ability to draw a bull flag pattern. So if you like bull flags, or I should say, near-term, short-term, however you want to define that, bull flags, and this is definitely something to keep an eye on. In terms of areas of resistance, very straightforward, literally just a question of, where did the party finally stop today? And that was right up there at 58.70. So 58.70 will be that main area from a resistance standpoint. If you like to play more so deeper pullbacks, then a potential area where it might pull back to, and where the buyers were clearly hanging out, right down here around that $40 mark. You can see a couple instances both there and there where the price dropped down and found some buyers both times. But anyway, look at it. Like I said, for those of you bull flag players, you got a nice little bull flag right there in and of itself. But overall, and let me just illustrate that from the big picture, you can see that this thing is still very much so in an overall uptrend. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and my falling wedge that I talked about in yesterday's video is still intact. And it did make a nice move. I talked about yesterday how it was looking like Tesla might want to make a good move, and it did. It gapped up, opening 30 minutes, very powerful, ran, actually got a break of the trend line, but then the sellers kicked back in. With all that being said, Tesla finally accomplished something that it hasn't done for quite a while. It actually didn't put in a new low today. It's been a long time since the price has done that, and I realize that's setting the bar kind of low, but it is what it is. So on that note, I want to keep this pattern in motion here. So I'm going to just extend this area of support out and then also extend this area of resistance down so that we can continue to watch a falling wedge because it is still in play. And as I mentioned in yesterday's video, a falling wedge is a bullish pattern. It doesn't mean that it'll for sure go up. But it's a situation where it's looking like the selling pressure is finally alleviating itself some. And, there's still work that needs to be done. But yes, it got, beaten down from the gap up today. But again, it's not like it dropped all the way down and put in new lows. So that's a step in the right direction and keeps the falling wedge in place. So yes, as far as a 30-minute time frame is concerned on Tesla, I would summarize it by just saying a bullish falling wedge. Next one here, ticker symbol RUM, and very, very impressive movement today along with yesterday. So overall, good start to the week here. And this reminds me quite a bit of DWAC, meaning, right now, that was a terrible line. Let's try that again. Right now, there is a bit of a pullback right here, but got to ask yourself what was going on before the pullback. Well, there was this nice upwards move. So in the very near term, you could look at this and just call it a bull flag pattern, and I would certainly have no arguments there. If you want to just take a look at it in terms of a little bit more black and white areas of support and resistance, then right up there at $7 is going to be that main battleground where the price several times got up around there, once, twice, three times. If you want to count that as the general area, and just couldn't push through it. The momentum disappeared every time. I'm not saying that the momentum will always disappear, but as of right now, via the story that's being told to us, $7 is kind of a momentum killer. So that'll be a big goal moving forward, is having the momentum be able to overtake that $7 mark. In terms of pullback levels, interesting level from that standpoint, right down here around the 565 mark. And then, of course, from the big overarching standpoint, just watch that purple line as it's, itself moves higher and higher and gets more and more relevant. But any way you look at it, very, very impressive trend right now. Nice looking pattern. So we'll see how the week continues to play out. Next one here, ticker symbol TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ market. So if you believe the NASDAQ market as a whole is going to rise, this one will also rise. It just allows you access at a much lower price point. And right here, to extend this out here, I talked about this trend line in yesterday's video. Whoops, why is it being goofy like that? But you can see right there, it did actually get the break through the trend line. And now from there, this is by no means been an explosive breakout or anything like that. Been kind of a slow, methodical breakout, but a breakout nonetheless. So I'll get rid of that. I do want to leave in this 54.45 mark as a support, because as you see here, it actually, the power of charts did a fantastic job of serving as support, as the chart forecasted and, suggested that it would do. So like I said, good example there on the power of charts. And then, yes, you know what I'm going to talk about next. Keep your eye on that purple line there, 50 paired moving average. So ideally speaking, what would make it look the strongest? Definitely if the price could stay above 15 or 54.45, but if it doesn't, next key level to watch would be that purple line there. In terms of next level of resistance, keep an eye on that area right there at the 55.65 mark. Then if it can push up through there, you're essentially, in blue sky breakout territory. I suppose you could call that level up there around the 55.90 mark. But in my opinion, a high volume break of 55.65 gives it a great chance of pushing to new highs. So we'll see what Wednesday has to offer. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here, then definitely go get signed up for that free live online webinar. It'll be very soon, Thursday, January 25th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please do a couple things for me. Hit that like button, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you traded today. Let me know your watch list for tomorrow. So thanks for hanging out. Go get signed up for that free class, and let me know if you have any questions.